This video plays a multifaceted role. I made a video in which on the 15th, which I read my poem. My phone died towards the end of the first one. I thought the video was deleted upon turning my phone back on, getting it charged up, and reviewing my memory, photos or videos. It was not visible. So I went on to record another one that's 30 minutes long. The other one's 25 minutes long, I think. At which point I couldn't download it because my Wi-Fi had expired, and it was 1 day without paying. So that delayed that. But in the process of it being delayed, I noticed, because I had been scouring the internet and downloading some images, that in between the stockpile of images and the latest video, the original video popped up. So both of them are sitting on my phone right now. Basically 55 minutes or an hour's worth of talking and a short reading of a poem twice. I'm gonna leave them both and put them up. And I'm not gonna write anything today. I'll say it's Sunday. Fuck that. I don't gotta say shit. I'm not writing anything today. So what I do want to do is the course of my conversation, more and more, of course, it's an echo effect. This is the way you create reality. So the reality that I'm creating is that I'm engaged in a universal, all-out struggle against evil forces that are out to destroy life. So the echo effect of that in my daily world is manifested in the conversations that I have. So, with other people, this is the gauge, this is the measurement, the rule. Fucking I'm good at this shit. So, anyways, Freemasonry and the Illuminati is a big part. And I have been fascinated with the little bit of research that I've done into Freemasonry as a subject, which is just right now YouTube, which is very fucking thorough shit, because as far as I'm concerned, while there's two parts of me, or there's multiple parts of me. I guess that's part of the point. But within this human element, this human existence, so I've got this notion where it's an utter, complete, egotistical disdain for masonry, as in I'm bigger than you. You can't tell me what to do. Childish thing. And it's sitting over there. I'm bigger than you, and you can't stop me from doing what I want to do. So these are the two ends of the spectrum. It doesn't look to make sense because it's an individual. It appears to be an individual versus a multitude. But upon closer analysis, it's actually a nothing versus a computable evidentiary, I don't know, that sounds like a word, evidentiary based, statistically definable, historically referenceable, geographically identified, commercially represented, politically interested, politically active, I guess, and religiously devoted. Maybe that's how you go. So that's what all these masonry shit is. Versus me. Am I the only one? No. Do I have to believe I'm the only one? Yes. Why is that? Try it. Fucking find out for yourself. So, on that note, I have looked into some more Freemasonry stuff. And what I was checking out today, I like the little mini sources and the big source. I like them all. Mix them together. Other people's research is great. I love it. Fuck Harvard professors. They're all fascist, fucking drone, pig, child abusing, child raping. You know, they all fuck kids. I don't give a fuck what you say and how you say it. Sandusky, you think just a coach does it? You're sick fucking motherfuckers. For them to fuck your kids' brains up so sophisticatedly, so dementedly, and so intrinsically, these fools, they look at a little fucking nothing. There is no boundaries. That's what you guys don't get. The fact that they will go through such great extents as building the school and the stages and making the videos and having the fraternities and the board of directors and the alumni and whatever the fuck else goes along with all this shit. Going through all that great extent in order to validate their actions. There are no boundaries. So, but that's, I guess that's just me. That's fine. But, so I'm by myself, looking at masonry. Fuck those fools. There's a great video, though, of a mason that's been a mason. He says, I've been from Indiana. I've been a mason for 50 years. And he'll give you a nice PR run-through, like the Israeli version of what happened. Ooh, like all the Israeli troops, the IDF troops, the men that arrest the little Palestinian boys, their version of what happened, the Lot version of what happened with the little boys. So, in these videos today, there were two very pivotal points. Essentially, what I'm finding out is not a discovery, but by the time I'm catching up to information with the Masons, it's actually, for me, past information as generated from another source. Not to say that I created, no, I haven't created anything. If I created anything, it's just the concept of the Roman imperial fascism being the unifying global government as a whole. No distinction between the Royal Crown, the United Nations, China, Russia, none of that shit. And that primary function of the entirety of that system to be the extermination of the human child under the guise of civilization and portraying to hoping or intending to advance the fifth world. But the fifth world is the human child. Therefore, the actual target behind the facade, the robe, underneath the robe of the judge, when he's sitting there jacking off and he's destroying fucking people's lives and fucking destroying communities and taking fucking voter rights away and evicting people. Oh yeah, I got 77,000 fucking evictions this year. Oh, all these fucking poor people. Oh, they're out of their fucking homes. Their fucking kids are ashamed. Oh, and these fucking landlords got money. Oh, and the bailiffs, the sheriff's department are safe. Oh, they're safe. Oh, they can kill some more because they got my back. Oh, and I got their back. Oh, so they can stand in my court while they go to jail under federal investigation. Oh my gosh, which is a conflict of interest. Oh my God. And they still do the evictions. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we send them out to patrol the streets of LA now when there's protests to save money, huh? Their jurisdiction. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm a good judge. Underneath this robe, I'm a good judge. I'm a good judge. I'm a good judge. I'm a good judge. So that's how that shit goes. And this is why you have the statistics with race. But no, let's not get into that. Because the truth is, there isn't race. That's the hard. So, but I mean, look, to solve the problems, you can't use the language in which the problems exist. To describe the problems, you need to rely on the language which exists. But the language that exists is designed so as to not have the capacity to even describe the concept which is the problem. You can coherently articulate, observe, prove, or mathematically conclude functions or outcomes or externalities, so to speak, which are externalities. But the language in itself, and this goes beyond the particular lingua, in which you have notions to show you how this is intertwined. Again, I've used this example a lot. But two things that I draw from Joseph Campbell. One is that suture, actually I got this from Buddhism, not just Joseph Campbell. He's the next one. But from Buddhism in general, the realization or whatnot that the Bible is broken up into books and then testaments, and then they can further how scholarly you want to get into it. You can get into like the Torah, the major prophets, the minor prophets, the whatever other the books, the Song of Solomon, Proverbs, Psalms, and I think Ecclesiastics fall under. And then you get into the gospel. You have the fucking epistles, the gospels, and the because I got those two videos, I'm out of memory, so I've got to download them before. So I got the other two videos uploaded, and it gave me some time too, a lot of time. I watched The Labyrinth, and it gave me the opportunity to think of something. Now, this is a poem book from Wordsworth. So, watching The Labyrinth, and actually this morning I watched Alice in Wonderland, or at least a version, a cartoon animated version, and I was getting into Alice in Wonderland last night. So I allude to a discovery. Okay, let me finish the Freemason. So what I'm finding out is, what I'm learning about Freemasonry is kind of like a review course, so to speak. Not that the Masons taught me a like or parallel or concurrent or apparently similar, reflective, or polar ideology, but that from sources that are external, that are intended to convey this information, but on a plane that is not accessible outside of P, so to speak, and this is the degrees moving on up in the degrees or whatnot. So one of these from like me believing, I'm not really being able to connect the time frame, but seeing that at least what I've said since 2004 when I moved into when I was living in Culver City is I had come to a realization about the sexual development in humanity, and that at what point there's what we consider to be homosexuality. Um, it was the most prevalent type of sex because it was a type of birth control combined with a type of bonding, not just what we have it today, because we have an imperialistic, fascist construct in and world entity. So these are so foreign, it's literally like being visited by an alien species or life form. It does not compute. They say that psychologically speaking, when the three ships, the Nina, the Pinto, and the Santa Maria, or whatever, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa, whatever that goes, when they landed, but they didn't. When they landed, they stayed offshore for several days, anchored before they came ashore, and that there was a shaman of a local um, indigenous people who stood on the shore for 3 days looking out into the bay, I guess, and it was recounted through some recorded historical document. That's what I heard it from. That it took him 3 days before he was able to construct the three ships in the bay because of not because of the magic element, because of the way the physical, anatomical, chemical, biological construct of the human brain in connection with vision. So in that same concept, there are notions of humanity that I was able to foster somehow without ever being directly alluded to them even being possible, at least not in any forthright or practical way. So the reason I came up with this conclusion is because then what I perceive to be true humanity, so to speak, it's kind of the way I discovered this, if there's a way, the trail, the animal trail, I trace the human element of whatever I perceive humanity to be, or perceive it to be. And in that context, I recognize that humanity would have been aware of the role of sex and reproduction. And humanity would have likewise been more astute to the more, or what we consider religion. All of that energy would be in the child. um, I think this would stem from, I would say that probably what first made humanity human, this is right here on the fly, is the maternal instinct to protect the baby from the alpha male. I would say if there's something that made a distinction in the species, that would probably have to be it. And it would be when the female first realizes that no, she doesn't need the male. Um, which is a consciousness. So, but now that gets deep because that's where a split happens. It gets tricky because that's what's in this book. What I ultimately discovered to be the type of truth that is incomprehensible in today's entity, human, in today's human species. This is, um, it's not that it's not believable, because anybody could believe anything. That's not, because that's like a cop out. Just for somebody to say, oh, I agree, then you're like, oh, see, it just takes faith. Or, no, no. It's that it's unaccessible. It's a fundamental truth that we are so far apart, like kind of like the Bible story of the chasm, the rich man and Lazarus. Well, we're the rich man. No matter how you want to, how petty you want to see your role in it, or how demeaned or cheated you feel you are from it. On a fundamental level, our participatory role in it is no different on any scale in the entire matrix, as so said, or computer system, whatever you want to call it. So, but everything is pointing already. That's kind of like what I'm talking about. To something. Now, Masons apparently, I don't know, go back to Nimrod as far as the way that the story goes. It's just narrative. There might be a way of telling dates through the names. Maybe that's why they use Hebrew. Maybe there's some kind of date significance so that they can convey on a deeper level the actual historic, if so called, or existence legacy of what we know to be as humanity. So that might be one significance in the names of like Noah and Nimrod and Adam and Abram and so forth like that. They might have some kind of like dating value to them. And Moses, Lot, that supersede in one sense, because this is what they do is the character takes precedence over the location. So you have Lot in Gomorrah. You would automatically, the human brain wants to latch onto Gomorrah as a dating technique. Much like I saw this YouTube video about South America and the difference between the Incas and the ancient rock cutters. And I like the video a lot, no disrespect to Incans. But as far as this guy going around, and that's not to say, nothing to take away from the Incans, it's just kind of something that we need to grasp as a whole. It goes to show it's human-wide. So you see the legacy of these massive rocks that are carved to a crazy perfection, off the fucking chart. They're like, what the fuck? One of these things has like 11 different edges cut perfectly to fit in with something like 7 different rocks surrounding it, while it's huge too, multiple tons, I think hundreds of tons. So down to the Incan period that goes, the Incans are only dated not even 2,000 years ago. That's what a lot of people don't realize. This is where it gets kind of tricky. And then the Incans basically settling around these formations and kind of doing makeshift patchwork construction to adapt the location to the modern use, but never demonstrating the capacity to recreate the method on any scale of the original perfect carved rock. So that's kind of the trick right there with the South America shit. So whatever that rock carving society was, somehow that information is conveyed through numeric codes and symbolic gestures that are intended to, this is where it gets important, because it gets hard to understand the duality of this shit. It's like, oh, they're trying to trick you. It's not the whole sum of it. It's not that childish. There's a video that I found that was very interesting. I'm sure if you're interested, you can find it. It's Michael Jackson, interestingly enough, and he's doing a defense about his sexual predatory stuff and about control. And one of the things that he tries to emphatically say is that your history books are lies. Your history books are lies. He tries to say that emphatically. It's on a scale like you're telling somebody your name is not, you are not Timothy Noah Caffrey. That doesn't exist. But this is a weird conflict that can't exist in a subdued mentality. The perception that is echoed back from the fascist construct of authoritarianism, domination, and the destruction of the childhood experience, all the way down to the fucking womb, tearing babies out of the fucking womb. Oh my God, you people fucking think I'm over-exaggerating this shit. This is systematic. And we go back to the fucking shit where my grandmother was talking about in the 50s. Oh, birth was no big deal. I don't remember anything. This is how crazy this shit is. This is how crazy this shit is. The mothers that were having babies in the 50s were being completely knocked the fuck out. They do not even know the role they played. Some of them, this is some crazy shit, because this was a standard operating procedure in the hospitals in the 50s. So kids that were born in the 50s, parents that were born in the, not me, but parents of my generation that were born in the 50s, they were fucking targeted and chemically fucking manipulated at the very fucking point of entry into the world. That's how sophisticated this system is. And their mothers, in order to cope with not fucking having any part in it whatsoever, but having an inherent human, deep, we're talking like how deep, that's just it, we don't know. That's my fucking point. So one of the things that the Masons teach is a significance in the goat. And apparently they have a ritual that involves some kind of interaction with goats. The term riding a goat seems to be utilized most prevalently, if referenced at all. But there are, I mean, I don't have to beat around the bush. I wouldn't be surprised if they fucked the goat. That makes sense. That's the way that this is the type of activity that they have to do the psychological dismantling of the elements of that human child. Because they're turning you into a man. This is true. They're turning you into something. It's the catch is, the person going through the initiation thinks that they're adding something. This is why I destroy fucking masonry and all this bullshit, because I understand the fundamental truth. Even the people that go against it, there's a way that on real fundamental levels, the notion that they're adding something to you every time is the fundamental rules and on levels that we don't even get, that are so deep that it's just like, because every level they're taking, they're stripping, they're tearing down shit using a scale of information that would seem to an individual beyond the capacity of even the internet to even organize. So the goat. But the significance of the goat comes in with the connotation, the masquerade, that what they're doing, they don't know what the goat is. They're taught that the goat ends up being a symbol of some kind of polarized character.
an entity, a negative entity, a scapegoat, somebody that needs help. The goat that gets sacrificed in Abel, it's a mutilation. That's a murder. A murder, regardless of the association with God, the fact that it's a murder. No, it's not a murder because it's not a human. It's a life killing a life, and it's not. It's just straight murder. See, that's the whole crazy shit about it is, the first sacrifice in the Bible is murder. You say an animal kills to eat is just straight wanton murder. So the scapegoat. So the notion of fucking the goat or riding the goat or playing with the goat or wrestling the goat, whatever they claim to do with the goat, is relevant to them getting the notion that they're subduing evil, that what they're doing is towards a positive connotation, even though the act that they have to do to remonstrate, not demonstrate, remonstrate the intention is in and of itself menial, but thus are likewise deemed deviant. So the kicker comes in. What I've discovered now is that I've discovered I'm not who I thought I was. I thought I was Plato's poet who was gonna be the one to end the republic. But I found Wordsworth's poems, and that fucking bitch beat me to it. Because now all I can do is plagiarize off of this fuckface, goddamn genius, piece of shit, poetic fucking bastard. Wow, his poetry. Um, what I thought, and I love the timing too, because I have a commitment to destroy fascism and all of its elements, and that's all of Masonry, Catholicism, Islam, Abrahamic sects. I don't know what the other end of it is, or what the people, because I'm not trying to fucking do the next thing, but whatever the people end up doing, that's up to them. If they end up going into a catastrophic state of catatonic fucking isolationism, and brute fucking wanton violence, it won't be much different than the organized, chaotic, anarcho, imperial violence right now. So I think I'm okay with coping with that. But Wordsworth's poems, I'm still wrapping my head around getting it out, what it is. But I'll tell you this much, I can guarantee this, it's gonna be childish. That's actually, and that's one of the reasons, to quote from the Bible, from the mouth of babes.
Or to get into the kingdom of heaven, you must be like a child, huh?